Hey everybody, it's Alexia from amysticspath, back with another video for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Now today I would like to talk about psychic abilities and get a little bit more into detail, explain how it is that they work and how it is that you can start to tap into them. This is not going to be a video on how to develop or strengthen your clairvoyance or clairaudience or anything like that. Like that you would find in a book. This is the best way to start on starting to see where your psychic strengths are and start to listen and feel out to tap into your natural gifts. All right. Now, everybody can tap into all of the psychic abilities. Some people hold all of the psychic abilities. All right. And this is just basically like some of us have different strengths. Some people may be very, very clairaudient. Some people may be very, very clairsensing, whatever the case may be. And you can go ahead and do extensional work into developing these further. But this is kind of explaining psychic energy and kind of highlighting, maybe you can see in certain spaces where you are indeed psychic or have struggled with psychic energy, okay? So I want to first start off by saying that most of us are born with gifts, okay? And they're very, very strong until about the age of 5. And this is because when we reach the age of 5, we begin to start to comprehend what it is that people are telling us when they're telling us that things are not real or we're having hallucinations or we're not seeing things. And it starts off as simple as monsters under the bed or in the closet. And your parents are like, oh, well, those are not there. They're not real. You know, you're just afraid of the dark. Now, getting into actual spiritual sense when you're actually dealing with entities, and I want to disclaim that entities does not mean bad. It just means that it is a form of consciousness, okay? Whether it be a dog entity, an angel, a deity, a loved one, okay, or a demon. It doesn't matter. An entity is just a body of consciousness. Now, when we're dealing with entities, they often don't like to be disturbed or feel like they're being watched or anything like that. All right. So most times when I've run across issues with entities in my own home or other people's homes, because I do clearings for select clients that I know personally. Okay. I find that they're either in a basement where nobody is dwelling, an attic where nobody is dwelling, a closet. And a lot of times it's a child's closet. Okay. Or some area or some room that is not occupied, if you have a storage room or a guest room or whatever the case may be. And then your kids might be telling you, oh, I don't like that room, it kind of freaks me out, and you're like, stop being scary or whatever the case may be. These are all times where kids are seeing entities and having psychic feelings when they're being told that it's not real. So we have this, okay, well, that was a hallucination. I'm not actually seeing that. And then we start to close that off and shut that down. Also, okay, so this is when we stop seeing things, all right? Now, when we are getting vibrations from people, how many times have you had a vibration or like you felt something and it was just off about somebody and you were like, no, so-and-so is not like that. They wouldn't do that. I have no reason to feel like that. But then a week goes by, 2 months goes by, even a year goes by, whatevs. Okay. And that person does exactly what it is that you thought that they were going to do or something similar. This is because just because somebody didn't start out with a bad intention doesn't mean that it did not shift and it didn't change to be that. So when you're having these feelings, the intention has just shifted or it has previously shifted in your absence, okay? You know when a friend is envious of you and you call them and you're like, hey, guess what? You're not going to believe it. I just landed the contract. And they might even sound excited and you're just like sitting there like, oh, I need to shut the fuck up and stop talking, but you have no reason to feel that way. And that is your intuition. Honey, they're not happy for you. They're putting on a face, but there's a lot of evil eye, jealousy, I wish that was me energy that is going on. So you need to be aware of that and check and listen to that, because this is clear sensing and clear knowing, and knowing what, like, just knowing when things are changing. This means that you are probably also sensitive to the collective energies around you, and can be very very emotional when planetary things shift, or when there is an upset or a disturbance in the people that you love. Clear sensing, I feel like, is also falls in line with empathy or empaths, and it is because we can literally feel the emotion. It doesn't mean, I don't really feel like it's an empathetic thing. I think that we can just honestly feel the emotion, and then sometimes we transmit it as our own. But sometimes if you are you know, like, really have trained yourself or really listen to your emotions, and you know it's not yours, you know you don't have a reason to be feeling that way, you know it might be somebody that is close to you in your life. Another example of being psychic is when you are going into social anxiety, right? Okay. So this, and it's a part of it, because sometimes we have a fear of actually interacting with people, and there's anxiety that comes from it. But I'm talking about when you go out and you're just automatically uncomfortable in large crowds. Now, me personally, I don't even have to be in a large crowd. If I am stressed out and I am trying to mentally figure something out, and you come walking up in my bubble, I'm going to do this. Back up. Because I literally have to wipe your energy off of me and push it away and tell you to back up, because you're too close to me. You might be 5 feet away from me, but the minute you approached me and I started to feel that bubble implode and push into mine, I feel like I'm being crowded. And now, so you might start to sit like this, and you don't know why, even though somebody's 2 bar stools away from you. This is also why a lot of people don't feel comfortable unless they're drinking, or not smoking, but drinking in front of people or around people, like if you're at a bar, because drinking will dull your sensitivities unless you are highly psychic and you're a people watcher. Okay, so it dulls down the sensitivities, and you can be able to loosen up and be able to become more comfortable in a big crowd. Now, smoking might actually increase your irritation, because it is actually, sometimes it can heighten your psychic sensitivities. All right, and that's why sometimes people may even get paranoid, because of the fact that there's too much stuff that is being heightened at one time. All right, so, and I want to also say that it's very important to listen to yourself in these situations of when things are shifting, and when you don't have a logical explanation for things, because that is how we start to lose, like, keep pushing down or keep suppressing our intuition. And, you know, some people say if you don't use it, you lose it. I don't really think that that's necessarily the case. I feel like sometimes it might be very, very, very hard to access, depending on how bad the repression is. And that is a reason, like, our logical brain is the reason why as adults we cannot necessarily, and I can't say all, because some people beat past it or never lose their sight, depending on their situation. But a lot of times people can only see see entities in a state where they're starting to wake up, or when they are really tired and, like, in a really tired state, and they're starting to kind of almost like fall asleep. They might be fighting their sleep, or whatever the case may be, because your logical brain is in a place where it's not at its best. So we can begin to see some things more, and I want to make that clear. So the things that you're seeing and you're like half asleep and you're like, what was that? It probably most likely was something, okay? Now, and I want to say, like, how we are always receiving psychic energy on some level. And this is why I'm trying to say everybody has the ability to heighten or develop or strengthen their psychic gifts, because everybody, like, I want to talk about chakras for a second, okay? So, because this has their energy orifices, and when we're looking at energy, this is basically, and then we can't see it, we can't touch it, you know what I mean? This is psychic energy, okay? And we all have a root chakra, a sacral chakra, a solar plexus chakra, a heart chakra, a third eye chakra, and or a throat chakra, a third eye chakra, and a crown chakra. But we also have other chakras, and I'm going to go into that in a second. All right, and I'm going to talk about the other main chakras that people aren't really talking about in mainstream spirituality, okay? So, of course, we have our root chakra, and this is our environment in the physical, our fears, our security, okay? And how we relate to that in our life. Now, we have our sacral chakra, and this is our reproduction and our creativity and our sexuality. We have our solar plexus chakra. This is our joy, our empowerment, and our joy, our empowerment, and how we enjoy, our exertion of how we enjoy things. All right. We have our heart chakra. Obviously, that's love and compassion. Our throat chakra is our ability to speak our truth. Our third eye chakra is the ability to see things clearly beyond what is in front of you. And our crown chakra is our connection to spirit, our connection to our guides, our connection to the divine, our connection to our higher self, okay? And these are all wildly talked about. But, all right, and we also have chakras in our hands, okay? We also have chakras in our feet. We also have chakras in our ears. We have a crap ton of chakras all over our body that just aren't as big or aren't as widely talked about. I honestly feel like the hands and the feet and the ears should be talked about, and that's why I'm here talking about it today, obviously. So, when we're looking at, obviously, we're going to be getting our clairaudience in our third eye and our clairvoyance in our, in our mind, in our mind's eye or our crown chakra / third eye. Okay, we're going to get clear sensing in our solar plexus. Sometimes it hits us in our chest too. All right. So, and it all depends on how it affects you. So sometimes it'll hit you in your sacral. It all depends on how that energy is going to affect you, of what chakra it is going to go to be then transmuted or transmitted into your energy field. And every energetical thing that happens, even down to an argument or something being created in the physical, there is an energetic there's an energy that starts off in the spiritual before it is ever compacted into the physical, and that's why we have these chakras. Now, I want to talk about your hand chakras for one, okay? Because these need to be cleansed regularly as well, and they can get muddied up from all of the different things that we're touching all day long. There's different energies on everything that we are absorbing, and we're feeling them through our hands. That's why a lot of times you can see, you'll see people where they'll get premonitions or something from holding a past loved one's object or something like that, and they're holding it in their hands and they're focusing on it and they're feeling the energy. They are feeling the energy, this energy is being absorbed and going through their hand chakras. This energy is also exhibited when we do energy work or Reiki work and we're pushing energy out of our hand chakras, okay? We also, when we are touching a tree trunk, all right, or the ground with our hands, this will work in the same way as if we are on the ground with our feet and standing on tree roots or on the ground, because this is the transmission and transmutation of our energy, that our nervous energy, our angry energy, to the earth, and the earth replenishing us, and the earth will transmute the energy that is given, okay, to it. All right, and that is why there's literally studies proven about how going in, it's called earthing, okay, and connecting to the earth helps put you in a better mood, okay, and relieves anxiety, all right, and that is because of the different the chakras that we have on our feet. Now, we also get energy that pulls down at the bottom of our legs too, and this is why we can have restless leg syndrome. We can have our calves might start to hurt and stuff like that, because this thick energy that is not being released properly sometimes gets stored at the bottom of our feet and our legs. All right, so again, it is very, 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 very important when you're asking questions to start to listen to how it feels. What type of energy does it feel like when you are asking yourself a question? Are you in a certain situation? Are you nervous? Are you happy? What is that? And start to listen. Listen when you're getting different vibes from people, okay? Listen and not try to debunk the images that start to randomly play in your head, because sometimes these are visions, okay? When a message comes through and it doesn't make sense, don't discard it, because I can't tell you, just like any other person that connects with spirit. I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten. And then 3 months later, I'm like, oh, that's what that meant. I thought it was that. Or I thought it was such a smaller piece of that. I didn't realize it was such on a big, large, grand scale. So the biggest thing with our psychic abilities and tapping into them and starting to listen to them and seeing where our strengths are is listening to ourselves and how it is that we feel, and being open and stop pushing our logical brain. Sometimes we have to tell our logical brain to shut up so we can start to see and start to develop. And I bet a lot of you watching this video are going to see how, in fact, you do have some psychic sensitivities that you need to learn how to kind of, well, not even learn how, like, you have to experience and understand so you can start to be able to deal and cope or handle them in a different way. So I hope that this video has helped you. And I want to reiterate before I get off, I want to reiterate listening. It's not always listening, and it's listening to the feelings that you are getting, because especially when you're clear sensing, it's listening to the feelings that you're getting. It's not, it's being open to the intuition that comes in even when it doesn't make sense. All right. And for a lot of people, it's a whole new world, listening to your intuitive side of your brain and tapping into the intuitive side of your brain, then the logical side of your brain. And a lot of times, a lot of people will start to do like meditate. And also when you start to have the intention to develop something, and you start to put that into practice, the universe sees it, recognizes it, and helps you manifest that once you start to put in the effort. Okay. So once you realize that you start listening, then you will realize that more synchronicities are happening. Look at your angel numbers, the time that comes up. This will happen when you're walking past houses. This will happen when you see street signs. This will happen when you see license plates, whatever. Okay, listening and paying attention to that. A lot of people will look them up, but I suggest looking them up and then seeing what it is that means for you, and then sitting with that. Don't just take what the computer says. Sit with it and see what it is that it means for you from your guides and from your angels, or whatever the case may be, if you work with your ancestors, whoever you work with, okay? Or if you don't work with anyone and you're just working with the universe. So listen, and listen isn't always listening. It's listening here, but it's also with some things, depending on where your psychic strengths are, it is listening here, but being, not being so rigid. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, on psychic abilities, or, might have like some, some issues like this, this is happening to me and how do I combat this, or anything like that, please do not hesitate to contact me for a session for yourself, or, message me, and I will be happy to work with you. Everybody, please have a great day.